This video is titled, I Hate Webcams. Sup shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands, and I hate webcams. I hate them. I hate them so much. They are so frustrating. If we switch over to here, you'll see that I am in the bottom of the screen on the bottom right. We can have OBS slide into the DMs over here. I'm going to zoom in on myself, and I want us to talk about that. You'll notice that it's a bit fuzzy for those of you who are watching on a full screen. And that's because for the longest time, for literal years now, I have been using 1080p 60 webcams. And the problem with 1080p 60 webcams is that on larger screens, it looks a bit fuzzy when you zoom in. And so recently, what I've been trying to do is consolidate and figure out whether I want to upgrade to a better webcam, like something. Oh my god, my glasses are not cleaner after doing that. Something like an Elgato Facecam Pro or something. Well, meant to be fair, a Facecam Pro in New Zealand is about $600. So I know that for people over in the States, for example, it's about $299. In New Zealand, it's $300, just $600 NZD, which is twice the exchange rate. I think it's 1.8 to the dollar or 1.7 to the dollar at the moment, but we pay because of GST. So we pay $630. And so for me, that's not a cheap webcam. And I have heard varying amounts in terms of the actual perceived quality of the Facecam Pro. People are saying it's clearer. But effectively, the reason that I would be getting a 4K 60 webcam is so that when I zoom into myself, I don't look that blurry. Now, for me personally, what I have not realized is that this level of blur I have today is less than I've had in other videos. And people have been watching the channel for a while probably look at when I zoom in myself and wonder, why the fuck would you do that? And part of it is simply that I have not understood the due process of running a webcam and a few other fundamentals of OBS that if I'd had the patience and foresight to have been able to check out would have avoided a lot of drama and stress. So for example, if I go to my webcam here, properties, I don't know if you can see that. I'll link it up on the screen. I've set up things with the firmware of Facecam, the Elgato Cam Hub, and that's been really good because it has allowed me to be able to figure out what it thinks the color grading is. It knows what kind of temperature it wants. It knows what kind of exposure settings. So at the moment I've got enough lighting for it to be 160 to 100. It doesn't seem overexposed at that point in time. Maybe it's a little bit bright in this picture. But what I've done today is I've realized that I can add a filter to this because at the moment it's 1080p, and when I zoom in on 1080p, especially when I'm doing 1440p videos, it is a bit blurry, at least in previous videos. And I've realized that I can scale the ratio to so that it is 2560 by 1440p. Now, for those of you who are astute and understand that when you don't literally double these display size that it can cause imperfections, I understand that, and also I just want to emphasize just how done I am with this. I'm so fucking done. It's very tiring doing this. I could go up to 4K with my webcam. However, the thing that makes it kind of frustrating for me is that and then downgrade it or downscale it and fucking whatever. But I have just decided to take the slight hit and to have it go from 1080p 60 to 1440p 60 equivalent through lengths or scale filtering. And at the moment, I'm happy with it. The color grading that Elgato StreamCam provided for me, I thought it was 4700. I have gone with 5300, and I've also applied a LUT that I have received. It is actually one of the webcam presets from I don't remember, hang on. I think OBS, if I'm not mistaken, distributed a LUT pack or something like that, or to somewhere else I got. But I got a LUT, and I've downloaded it, and I've put 11% of it in, and it gives a kind of a nice kind of like glow, a little bit more of a warmer kind of tone than I get otherwise. So I feel like the actual like look of the scene, you know, with the color grading being okay, with the LUT added, with the scaling aspect ratio being done, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. And I think the most important thing I've taken away from this today is that it's fine. It's not going to be mirrorless 4K 60. I would need to spend $5,500 NZD on that. And it's like, for a lot of people, buying a 1080p webcam is expensive, let alone a 4K 60 webcam like the Facecam Pro, let alone a mirrorless. You know, that's That's the end game kind of stuff. That's a you're seriously making some bank from this, and you need the absolute pristine quality. You need people to see every pore on your skin at that point. While I'm here, I want to sort of like talk about a couple of things. I have also been more cognizant recently of the fact that I need to be more responsible with remembering to set my presets. So, for example, I've got in for EQ here. I have it's basically also done individual presets for each of these so that I remember exactly when I've done these presets and how I've done them. I've also tried to re-level things a little bit. It's going to be trial and error, but if you came to the live stream yesterday, you might have noticed that I was a little bit quiet, and it's simply because when I tried to update my plugins, I had double checked that the SSL channel strip and the NVQs presets, because when you update those apps, they forget the presets you've established, so you have to re-add them. I had forgotten that the limiter was also an SSL plugin, so it didn't exist. So I had no limiter on that at all, which was uncomfortable. And then we've got the cock blocker as well, which is a nice little noise gate. But basically, what I'm trying to communicate is that I'm trying to work on the quality of my audio and video. And I feel like at the moment, even if it's not the most beautiful image and it's not the most high quality res one, it's the best I can do at this point. And I think that if it's better than previous videos, then it's good. And to be able to get to a point where, because there's very few to know 4K 60 webcams. I could do 4K 30, but I prefer having 60 frames per second. I just always have. There are people who think that that's just, it's not good, and that's totally fine. I respect that. I just like it that way. So yeah, that's basically the video. I don't really have a lot else to talk about. It's just basically, if you've watched the videos at any point in time that I've been on YouTube, been like, this guy's kind of weird with the sound of the video. I know. I look back at my older videos, and some of them are just absolutely horrific. And I look at it and think, what the fuck happened, And I think I've got to be careful now more than ever now that things are starting to get a bit better so that things are okay. But basically, I think that's us for today. In conclusion, I hate webcams. I've spent years trying to get my webcam to a point where I'm happy with the image, the color grading, the actual look of it. Because I've also tried a lot of different solutions today. I've spent about 2 hours today trying to figure out how to get the right color grading, the right sort of like resolution scaling. I've tried doing some like stuff within Resolve. I've tried doing some stuff with like AI upscaling, and it just hasn't looked fantastic. And so I feel like at this point, what we've got with Lanxos upscaling is palatable, and we're just going to continue to evolve and learn as we go. But this should be enough. So if you're watching this and you're like, what's going on? These are better videos. So I think now that I've finally gotten the setup I'm happy with in this new place, right before we're potentially going to have to move, I think I'm going to do some more videos. But thank you for watching. Just remember, it's okay, doing streaming stuff or video stuff, whether it's with a webcam, whether it's with a camera, whether it's with audio setup, it's all a learning curve. And you're going to make mistakes and kind of have stuff ups. And I think what I'm going to do actually while I remember, and this is just going to also potentially kind of complicate things, is I'm not super happy. Like, I'm trying to find the midpoint between like low end and not. And there's just this resonance at about 105, 110 that I've never entirely been happy with my voice. I'm going to go 110, but it sounds so thin on my microphone. But then that's kind of the point, Like, it's kind of the point. There's not a lot there needs to potentially be more clarity. I don't know. I'll keep it at 105 for now. I was happy with that. Stay cool, stay safe. Please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time. I just need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next video, I suppose. Spider hands out.